So my bro David Bolton asked me to do a video about suicide, veteran suicide, I guess, right? So, I mean, I've had my own issues with depression and things like that. I can't really chalk them up to being a vet, but I do have an anecdote, so to speak. I wouldn't call it an anecdote. It's suicide, so there's nothing trivial about it, really. So I had this dude, Javier Guzman. He was in my boot camp class, MCT, and he went to comm school with me in 29 Palms. And up until we got to comm school, we were just two faces in the crowd. Neither one of us really had any interaction with one another. And then, some things went down between some other folks, and he got roped in. And then there was a party with drinking, and some stuff got stolen, maybe. And so I guess we had a beef. Me and him had issues. And then, because of how the Marine Corps was doing stuff during the era, during the Krulak era, we got sent to the same duty station in Okinawa. And then we got detached from that unit, 7th Com, to go to the MEU at the same time. So, like, we were stuck at the hip, and we couldn't stand each other. I mean, we were really going at it. And then after we got done with Okinawa, we both got sent to Com Company, 1st Marine Division of Camp Pendleton. So it's like, look, we're both like corporals now, still can't stand each other, still going out of each other's way to shit on one another. It's just not a good time, right? So a couple years go by, we grow the fuck up, and we go, all right, well, let's just bury the hatchet, man. Let's this is fucking stupid, right? So we did. We buried the hatchet. I lap moved, went from radio to tech control. He stayed radio, and we went our separate ways. And then some years go by, a lot of years, maybe like 10 years maybe went by, and I'm a contractor. I'm in Afghanistan, and I just got word that he had committed suicide. Now, mind you, during this time, several other people that we knew from Okinawa and other places had died, Epinero committed suicide, and a few other people. But I got to Leatherneck from Kandahar because I was going down there with my OIC, and I saw one of our mutual friends, Hanson. He's a gunny. He's getting ready to be a mass sergeant. And Guzman and Hanson were like bros, man. They were super tight, and Hanson didn't even know. So I forgot how it got around to me, but it did. And I talk. I get to Hanson. I give him a hug and the whole thing. Hey, it's been forever. He was he was my corporal when I was on the MEU. He was both our corporal at the MEU, and I had to drop the bomb on this dude that Guzman killed himself, and he just stood there and he was shocked and he cried. This was a dude who really. I said he had a good time. He had a good time. He was always smiling. But in this moment, like a dude I hadn't seen in over a decade, I feel bad. He just killed himself. I feel like shit. I'm telling his dude that, he just killed himself. And he's like, nah, I just talked to him. He was at Bridgeport. I'm like, yeah, that's where he killed himself. Turns out the dude, Guzman, got diagnosed with PTSD, and they still sent him back in the grinder 6 more times. This dude was broken, and he needed help, and he reached out for help, and they still sent him back. So, I mean, I remember the dude how got married, and I don't know what happened. Even if they divorced, I'm sure that's devastating. For the good master sergeant to be standing there crying in public, this it was soul crushing. I mean, we weren't buddies, we weren't boys, but we had buried all that bullshit, and I respected his his right to exist, and he respected mine, and I didn't wish ill on the guy, but holy shit, man, to have to get the news and pass the news and then see the news how it was absorbed, it was a lot. And it's not the first time I had to deal with some like really nasty shit while I was in. You know, this is an unfortunate byproduct of stress and sin and war and all the other shit. You know, I mean, I think about it every once in a while. I think about, you know, how, and he was a strong dude, man. I just see how how much did he go through, and how much did the people with him go through before he decided that it was it. You know, how did his life go before he decided that this was the solution? You know, outside of the 6 additional tours post diagnosis, you know, what did his family go through? So, I mean, suicide affects everyone, and a lot of people at some point will deal with it. But when you serve, you deal with it a lot more frequently than maybe you think you deal with it more frequently than you would like. I mean, you never want to deal with it, but more frequently than you expect. I mean, and these are strong folks. These are resilient, strong folks who are applying a permanent solution to a temporary problem, who maybe aren't getting help, who maybe aren't given a break. They're just tired. So, I mean, shit, I've thought about it, but I mean, I got shit to do, so I can never go through with it. But I guess my boy Javier felt he could.